Hi everyone, this is video 5, Trapped in the Care System, 18 years, my story. We're going to continue from page 21, which was the end of video 4. When I was working for this landscaping company, we would be mostly working and doing jobs in Sussex, mainly soft landscaping, turfing, topsoil shoveling, planting, mulching, fencing and hard landscaping, mainly mixing up concrete and mortar mixes for paving, brick walling jobs. Mainly pretty much I was a labourer. I can remember my boss coming up to me and asking if I was able to find somewhere to stay in London, and I said of course I have. I used to go up and see my mum up in London and stay with her for the weekend when she lived at the home, which was a halfway home for people who were mentally ill in Putney, where I knew 3 of her very, very close friends. I cannot mention their names, and many others, but they were the ones I was closest to. As this landscaping company did Chelsea Flower Show every year, and I was going to be working on their show garden, so I stayed up in London for the whole week, including the weekend. It was a great experience doing a garden at the Chelsea Flower Show. It was the Help the Aged garden and designed by Robin Williams. Now that's Robin Williams, the designer, the landscape architect, not the actor. The people I worked with regularly were 4 chaps who I really got on well with, and I really liked working with them, but I can't mention their names either. Also around my birthday, I started being given a few driving lessons on the driveway by my guardians, and up and down, and one of the members of staff up and down the drive at first before going out onto the public roads. It got to the point where I wanted to start getting lessons, and I found someone in the local area not too far from the flat where I lived to start learning with a driving school once a week. To my surprise, after taking my driving instructor, I found out that someone from my form class at school was his lodger. Can't mention his name either. I remembered my driving instructor because he was always smoking a cigar, which I quite liked the smell of, to be honest. And he was a really nice bloke. I really, really did like him. We would have real nice little chats while we were driving around doing the lesson as well. He was nice. I liked him. Around this time, I left the landscaping firm, who was only paid me £32 a week for working 3 days, and started working for another landscaping firm closer to me as we left college for the summer. As soon as I started working for this new landscaping company, I was getting £65 a week, doubling my pay. My old boss tried to get me back, but I said I quit because I am getting double my wage from my new boss. My old boss didn't even say that he was going to double my wages purely because I was going to be working 5 days a week for him. And I was working 5 days a week for him at one time, and I was still getting paid £32 a week, which I think is just disgusting. So to this day, I just left, and I thought, you're not going to pay me any more for working 5 days a week, so I'll work for somebody else and they double my wages because I'm working, twice as long. When I started working for this new landscaping firm, I realised that they were doing a lot more domestic jobs, doing people's garden, rather than with the previous landscaping firm. It was more commercial jobs, council contracts, parks, This is now page 22. New housing and industrial estates, landscaping. The people I worked with regularly were three chaps. One particular chap I didn't really get on that well with. He was quite sort of strict and tight-lipped really with me. But there was two other chaps who I used to work with quite regularly, and they were like a lot nicer. It was the end of the summer, and it was time to go back to college. My second year consisted of going to college on, and this is halfway through September, Monday, and working a longer week. So that would be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday and Friday, instead of just Wednesday, Thursday and Friday. So now it was I was working there 4 days a week. My second year was studying landscape practice, whereas the previous year was general horticulture. It was a City and Guilds certificate. It was a basic certificate and a basic qualification purely because I was more interested about going to Merritt's-Wood. And that was a full-time college course. But unfortunately enough, I couldn't start the course until I was 18. What was really cool about living in this town was where the flat was it was so close to my boss's brother, who also lived in the town. And he would give me a lift into work every morning and take me home every evening. So that cut out my travel expenses straight away. I used to wait on the main road at the end of his street, and it would be straight down this road, and literally just off the main road it would be to where the yard was. My college years at Plumpton Agricultural College were great, not just because of the course, but the friends I made on the course too. There was 4 particular friends who I was really, really quite close to, and to this day I have good memories. Not all of them I'm in contact still with, but I'm still in contact with 2 of them. I went back to the home for my once a week visit just to touch base and make sure everything was all right at the flat. I was told a friend had called me to return the phone call. I called my school friend, which was, cannot say his name. He was not my closest of friends, but he was a friend nonetheless. He asked me if I wanted to go to his 18th birthday party, and I said yes, definitely. Me and my friend from the local village where I used to live went together to go to his birthday party. We got to the party, and shortly after arriving, I got chatting to this really nice young lady. Cannot name her name. She was wearing a small tight red dress, red lipstick, and she looked amazing. It seemed to me that I hardly chatted to anyone else for the whole night, apart from this young lady. Got to the end of the night and I offered to walk her home, and that is where our friendship and our relationship started. After dating this young lady for some weeks, I started hearing a few people saying I didn't really count as being friends, but they were saying that this friend of mine really liked the girl I started dating. To this, I am very surprised to this day, and I never knew about it until well after this. Well, to my surprise, this was new to me, and my girlfriend at the time was good friends with this friend of mine, but nothing ever happened and never would have, as she looked upon him as being just a very good friend and nothing more. So I had to put this behind me. Anyway, later on, the day comes when it was time for me to move from the flat. I was 18 years old. I moved into a house not far from where my boss lived. And it was like one hell of a new move for me. Anyway, later on with my job situation, months later, things got a bit rocky for me. My boss came up to me and said he was having to lay people off as the recession had kicked in all over the country. He was starting and telling me while he was taking me to work that work was dropping off. It was getting hard for him to keep on the workers, and he had to lay off the people pretty much at the bottom of the chain, and that was me. There was also a couple of others as well. I went into panic mode. I had only just bought myself my first car and then get told laid off weeks later. I was distraught and I was quite panicky at this time, and I just really did not know what to do. Panic but not. I got myself another job after calling around every local landscaper in town, and found myself another job, but to start 1 month later. 1 month's time. As my old boss said, he could keep me on for at least another 4 weeks. So I stayed with him for as long as I could. My boss also helped me to move into my first new home after the care system. And this is the end of my story of 18 years in the care system. Now, what I've got to say is this, is I'm 47 and a half years old. I wrote this a year and a half ago. It's only just got me to be able to have the confidence to be able to do a video about this. For me to write this book, it's taken nearly 30 years to write what I've just read. Now, back in my mind, everybody who's met me will know me for who I am and what I am. I've always had a low tolerance on people in life, and I get put off people very easily. Now, this isn't part of the diary anymore. This is me speaking as I am now. And throughout my whole childhood, I've always been put off people by if people are racist, if people are homophobic, for people who judge people by their religion, by people who judge them by the colour of their skin, by people who judge them by where they were born, by people who are judged by where they live. Well, you know what? Erase all of that, because I don't care what colour your skin is. I don't care what religion you are. I don't care where you were born. I don't care where you were brought up. I don't care where you live now. All I care is that you're a law-abiding, nice person who wants to do good on to other people. But what I don't like is people who do the opposite to that. And throughout my whole life, I've been one of these people. I've had problems with people in the past. I've had problems with people being jealous of me, being envious of me, belittling me, saying stuff behind my back which is false and slanderous, and just people who just have this desire to just not be nice. So over a period of time, I do back off from these people, but I do give them a chance. But what I can't understand is what I've gone throughout my 18 years of my childhood. That throughout my childhood, and even after my childhood, I still have to deal with these types of people. So at the end of the day, what I'm saying to you now, everyone who watches this, surround your friends who praise you. Surround your friends who build you up. Surround yourself with friends who make you feel good about yourself. And if you don't have friends who do that, then they're not real good friends. So what I'm going to say now, putting to the end of this video, thank you for watching. And please like and share this video. And have a very good day. And this is the end of the story of my childhood, which is Trapped in the Care System, 18 years, my story. But what I must say this, I know I said that I was going to go, but I can't, because you know, this is my personality kicking in. Whatever happens in the past, confront it, deal with it, get therapy. There's psychiatrists out there, they get you frustrated because you're talking to them but they're not reacting to you. There's psychotherapists, you talk to them but you're talking about your feelings and your emotions and how to handle your feelings. And then there's hypnosis. And there's also another form of therapy which I'm even thinking about getting myself, and it's called RTT. And this lady called Marisa Peer on the internet does RTT, which is called Rapid Transformational Therapy. I'm actually thinking about doing this sometime in the near future. But what I would say is this, is that I did see my mother's psychiatrist on a couple of occasions. It didn't really work out for me, really. I did see my personal psychotherapist, because remember, a psychiatrist is for my mother. It was trying to get the relationship between me and my mother sorted out. A psychiatrist deals with the disease of the mind. The psychotherapist deals with the disorder of the mind. But hypnosis, and then on another separate case subject, RTT, is a form of hypnosis and therapy at the same time, where they extract the problem. So rather than talking about the problem and not getting any feedback, which psychiatrists basically deal with, and then talking about the psychotherapist, basically talking about the problem, but actually just resolving, trying to deal with the problem. But with RTT, it's finding out what the problem is, extracting that problem and stopping your thought patterns from thinking about it. And that's pretty much a bit like hypnosis is too, but RTT I think I'm really more inspired by. So I might go for that, who knows. But anyway, this is the end of me waffling. Unfortunately enough, one thing I'm going to tell you this, and I've given you a prime example of me now. I go on, I talk, I go on and on and on, and I know I do, but I can't stop it. This is purely because when I was a child, I was always told to be quiet. I was always told to be shut up. I was never listened to me. And whenever I tried to say something, someone would always over talk me. So I think I'm making up for it now. So that's what I'm doing. But anyway, this is the end of the video. Video 5. Have a good day and take care. And this is the last video for this series. Take care. Bye.